It all began in the hallways of an ordinary high school. Emily Thompson, a bright and cheerful girl, never suspected that her classmate, Jack Reynolds, would become obsessed with her. What started as an innocent crush quickly spiraled into something dark and dangerous. Jack's love was not reciprocated, and his mind twisted rejection into a dangerous fixation. As Emily laughed with her friends, unaware of the eyes that followed her every move, Jack's obsession grew, setting the stage for a horrific outcome that no one could have foreseen. Jack finally worked up the courage to confess his feelings to Emily. In a quiet moment at a park, he poured his heart out, hoping that she would feel the same. But Emily, uncomfortable with his intensity, gently rejected him. She valued their friendship but had no romantic interest. For most, this would have been the end of a simple high school crush. But for Jack, it was the beginning of a deadly obsession. His love, turned to rage, would soon transform their lives forever. After Emily's rejection, Jack's behavior became increasingly disturbing. He began following her around the school, watching her from afar, sending her relentless texts, and leaving unnerving notes in her locker. His once hidden obsession was now on full display, but Emily tried to ignore it, hoping he would move on. Unfortunately, the more she pushed him away, the more his obsession intensified, fueling a dangerous fire that was about to explode. It was a cold afternoon when Emily left school alone, walking home along her usual route. But this day, Jack was waiting for her. Cornering her in a deserted alley, his obsession took a terrifying turn. The confrontation quickly escalated, with Jack begging for her love and Emily firmly refusing. In a moment of uncontrollable rage, his anger boiled over. What happened next would change both their lives forever, turning a simple rejection into a nightmarish tragedy. In a fit of rage, Jack brutally attacked Emily. The quiet alley became the scene of a horrific crime as he unleashed his fury on the girl who had once been his friend. Emily fought for her life, but Jack's blind rage overwhelmed her. In those final moments, the line between love and hate blurred, leaving behind only devastation. Emily's lifeless body lay in the alley, a tragic testament to a young life stolen far too soon. Jack, consumed by his actions, fled the scene, leaving behind a horror that would haunt the entire community. Hours later, Emily's body was discovered by a passerby, and soon the alley was swarming with police and investigators. Her family, overcome with grief, couldn't understand how their vibrant daughter had been taken from them in such a brutal way. As detectives began piecing together the events that led to her death, one name kept coming up: Jack Reynolds. What had started as a schoolyard crush had turned into a deadly obsession, leaving a community shattered and a family in mourning. Jack's arrest came swiftly after investigators connected the dots. When police arrived at his home, he offered no resistance. The boy who had once been seen as quiet and shy was now known as a murderer. As Jack was led away in handcuffs, the weight of his actions began to sink in. His life, once full of promise, was now over, consumed by the consequences of his uncontrollable rage and obsession. The community, once tight-knit, was left to grapple with the horror of what had transpired in their midst. The trial of Jack Reynolds gripped the nation. Inside the courtroom, Jack sat silently as the details of his crime were laid bare. Prosecutors painted a picture of a boy driven mad by rejection, while the defense tried to argue that Jack had been suffering from severe emotional distress. But no amount of explanation could undo what had been done. The chilling reality of Emily's final moments and the depth of Jack's obsession left the jury with little doubt. Justice for Emily would soon be served. The trial saw emotional testimonies from both sides. Emily's friends and family recounted the terror they felt as Jack's obsession unfolded, while Jack's own parents expressed their sorrow and disbelief over their son's actions. In a heart-wrenching moment, Emily's mother took the stand, describing the loss of her daughter and the pain that would never go away. These powerful testimonies left a deep impact on everyone in the courtroom, underscoring the immense loss that had been suffered. After a lengthy trial, the verdict was delivered guilty. Jack Reynolds was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Emily Thompson. As the gavel struck, the final chapter of this tragic story was written. Jack's obsession had led him down a dark path, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a family forever changed. The courtroom's silence echoed the gravity of the loss. As Jack was led away, his future now confined to the walls of a prison. Emily's tragic story is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked obsession and the consequences of emotional instability. As communities reflect on the horror that unfolded, conversations about mental health, young love, and emotional support grow louder. In the quiet halls of Emily's former school, her memory lingers, a symbol of a life taken too soon. Let her story be a reminder that every cry for help must be heard, and every sign of distress must be taken seriously. If you or someone you know is struggling with obsessive thoughts, mental health issues, or emotional distress, please reach out for help. No one should suffer in silence. Let Emily's story inspire us to listen, to support, and to act before tragedy strikes again.